Okay, real talk. If someone asked you right now, how much money do you need to retire? What would you say? $1 million? 2 million? Just a lot? Most people have no idea. And honestly, that's not their fault. Nobody teaches you this stuff. But here's the thing. Not knowing that number is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Because you can't hit a target you haven't set. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to figure out your retirement number. Not some generic figure, yours. And by the end, you'll have a clear framework to work from. Let's start with the most well-known rule in retirement planning, the 4% rule. The idea is simple. When you retire, you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio every year, and historically, your money should last at least 30 years, maybe longer. So if you need $50,000 a year to live, you divide that by 0.04, and you get $1.25 million. That's your number. Now, before you either panic or celebrate, let me add some context. This rule came out of something called the Trinity study, done back in the 90s. Researchers looked at decades of stock and bond market data and said, if you withdraw 4% annually and adjust for inflation, your portfolio survives the vast majority of historical 30-year periods. That's pretty reassuring. But, and this is important, it's not a guarantee, it's a guideline. Markets change, your life changes, and 30 years might not be long enough if you retire at 55. So use the 4% rule as your starting point, not your final answer. Here's where most people get tripped up. They think about retirement income in the abstract, but the real question is, how much do you actually spend? Not how much you earn, how much you spend. Take a look at your current monthly expenses. Housing, food, transportation, healthcare, entertainment, all of it. Now think about how that changes in retirement. Some costs go down. You're not commuting anymore. Maybe your mortgage is paid off. You're not saving 15% of your income because you're retired. But other costs go up. Travel, because now you actually have time for it. Healthcare, almost certainly. And honestly, early retirement can be expensive just because you have so much free time. A rough rule of thumb is that you'll need somewhere between 70 and 90% of your pre-retirement income. But I'd encourage you to actually sit down and model it out for your specific life. Are you planning to travel internationally? Do you have aging parents you might need to support? Do you want to leave something behind for your kids? All of that factors in. Here's something that can dramatically change your number, and people underestimate it constantly: Social Security. If you're in the US and you've been working and paying into the system, you're likely going to receive Social Security benefits. The average monthly benefit right now is somewhere around $1,700 to $1,800. But depending on your earnings history and when you claim, it could be significantly higher. If you claim at 62, you get less. Wait until 70 and your benefit can be nearly double what it would have been at 62. That's a massive difference over a 20 or 30-year retirement. So before you calculate your full retirement number, look up your Social Security estimate. You can do that on ssa.gov. It takes 5 minutes, and it might lower your target number by a lot. Same goes for any pension, rental income, part-time work, or anything else coming in. The point is, your portfolio doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. Other income sources reduce what you need to save. I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't talk about this. Healthcare is probably the single biggest financial wildcard in retirement, especially if you retire before 65 and aren't yet eligible for Medicare. A couple retiring at 65 today can expect to spend on average somewhere in the range of $300,000 or more on healthcare costs throughout retirement. That's not a typo. And if you retire early, you need to bridge the gap with private insurance, which can easily run $800 to $1,500 a month or more, depending on your age and where you live. Build this into your number. Seriously, don't assume you'll just figure it out. Healthcare costs have a way of wrecking otherwise solid retirement plans. One more thing that sneaks up on people: inflation. A dollar today is not the same as a dollar in 20 years. If inflation runs at around 3% annually, which is historically pretty normal, the purchasing power of your money roughly halves over 25 years. So that $50,000 a year lifestyle today, in 25 years, it might cost $100,000 to fund the same life. This is why just having cash sitting in a savings account isn't a retirement strategy. Your money needs to grow, and your withdrawal strategy needs to account for inflation adjustments over time. The 4% rule already bakes in annual inflation adjustments, which is one reason it's held up pretty well. But it's still worth understanding the dynamic, so you're not caught off guard.
To start was yesterday. The second best time is right now. If you found this helpful, drop a comment with your biggest retirement question. I read all of them and they literally shape what I make next. And if you want to go deeper on retirement investing strategies, I've got a video coming on that soon, so make sure you're subscribed. Talk soon.